Right, hello everybody, we're back. Well, I am back. There is only me. So, if you're following along, this is part 3. Excuse me while I get comfortable. So this is part 3. In part 2, we built the system to collect the data. Well, it's actually from here, but obviously we have emptied it out, so we're not getting any more until we've done this part. Okay, so you can't see because I'm only recording visual code, not the whole screen, but it's now 17:22, excuse me, not long eaten. And our last bucket was at 16:49, so we definitely stopped. So get rid of that. Ignore all of them for now. It's kind of what we're working with. So get rid of them out of the way, so don't distract us. And that. So it became apparent once we'd read in the information and returned it back and printed the bucket number that we want to use this one for more of a comparison engine, but we haven't actually streamed or calculated the data in order to these parts, collect these up so we can then work out the difference between them. 2 minutes worth of data. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. If I can get comfy. Ugh. You have to excuse me today. One of them days. Anyway, onwards and upwards. So that's essentially what we're going to do. So most of these, and we're going to, so the averages are going to be done at the end. So we don't need to worry about them this second. So we've got bid high, bid low, ask high, ask low, spread high, spread low. Okay. So if we, so we're going to have 10, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So tick changes. Get rid of that. I'm going to move this one over to my other screen just so I can reference them both at the same time. And not quite sure what went on there. Bear with me. I moved it over and for some reason it went all wonky. There we go. That seems a bit better. Okay, so highs, lows, tick changes. Right, so this is where we have to get a bit with it, shall we say. Self dot high bid. Set that to none. Self dot low bid. Set that to none. Self dot high ask. None. Self dot low ask. None. Self dot high spread. Self dot low spread. Okay, so that takes care of those. In terms of being able to track against the two, and then so if we just have the minute high and lows on the raw data, and then we'll need a previous ticks. So we'll have self.previous bid equals none, and self.previous ask is equal to none. And we need those in order to new to old. So basically, is the new bid tick higher or lower than the previous bid tick. Okay, and then that takes care of our next 4 variables, which are the higher and lower tick changes. Okay, so we want self dot tick, we'll go bid tick higher, and we'll set them to none because they're a counter. Self dot bid tick lower equals none. Self dot ask tick higher, it's going to be none, and self dot ask tick lower, that's going to be none as well. Okay, so that's 10, and then the averages, make a note here, calculated in function, just so you don't forget. Okay, so you can ignore them in the count, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 plus the 3 averages, which would be bid average, the ask average, and then we'll have the spread average. Now, the spread is kind of not important, but as we're here, why not? So that's what we'll be calculating in function to give us our 13 points. Okay, so now we can take the ticks, we can ignore that, and then we've got our prices here. So we're adding the raw ticks for the template, that's fine. So we've got a bid price and an ask price. Okay, so if we create a quick function here, we'll just call it update current metrics, and we'll pass in a bid price and an ask price. Okay, the first thing we'll do is we'll calculate the spread. Price is going to equal the ask price minus the bid price. Okay, so we've got a spread. And then we're going to also need, we'll add these down here. We'll call these the average windows. So we need a self.bid window, and that'll be a list. A self.ask window, that will be a list. Self.spread window, and that will be a list. Okay, so now we want to add all 3 prices to respective windows. So we want self.bid window.append bid price, self.ask window.append the ask price, and the self.spread window.append the spread price. Okay, so that takes care of adding those on. Then we want to check if the current bid price is higher than the higher bid or lower. Yeah, so the bid price is higher or lower than the self.high. So if self.bid price self.bid, lost my marbles, we'll copy these down here for reference. Apparently my brain's gone, which is nothing new there. So put them in a bit and them in a bit. Right, so self.highbid. So self.highbid is none. Then self.highbid is going to equal the bid price. Okay, if it isn't, if it's not none, if bid price is greater than self.highbid, then the self.highbid is going to equal the bid price. And then it's the same for if self.lowbid is equal to none, and self.lowbid is going to equal the bid price. Else, if bid price is lower than self.lowbid, and self.lowbid equals bid price. Okay, and then it's the same for the ask. So if we just be able to see this, I'll do it in Notepad. I suppose I can do it here actually. Just call it day change. And then we will replace, and we want to find the bid, and we're going to replace it with ask. Just like that. Okay, so self.low ask and high ask and every other ask going. Okay, so that takes care of those, and then we want to go from ask to spread. We're doing a spread here. High spread, low spread, so yeah. Okay. So spread highs and lows. These will be the ask highs and lows. And these will be the bid high and lows. Okay, so get rid of them. Takes care of that. And then we want to calculate these. So if those are nothing, just take this whole thing down for reference. They shan't bother. So again, just my notes. So if the self.previous bid is equal to none, then self.previous bid equals the bid price. Else, if it isn't, so if bid price is greater than the previous bid, self.previous bid, we'll get that. Then self.bid tick higher plus equals 1. If bid price is lower than self.previous bid, then self.bid tick lower plus equals 1. Oh, had it right first time. Okay, so that takes care of the bid, and the same for the ask. So if self.previous ask is none, we set the self.previous ask equal to the ask price. Else, if ask price is greater than self.previous ask, then self dot ask tick higher plus equals 1. Elif ask price is lower than self dot previous ask, and then self dot ask tick lower plus equals 1. Okay, so that takes care of adding all that data up and getting everything in the right order. So quickly add some labels on here. So these are previous bid calculations. Make sure I'm right. And then these will be the previous ask calculations. Okay, so that takes care of them. How we doing? 16 minutes in, not bad. So get rid of that because I don't like all that stuff waffling on. So that should take care of absolutely everything in regards to these that we've put on. We're adding the data to the windows, we're calculating these, we're setting those and comparing those to those for that, and we are checking if we're higher or lower on those, and if we're none, we're setting them. Okay, so that pretty much takes care of doing that. Now check if time to process is where we need to be at. If self.current bucket equals none, and then here we want to actually calculate, so I'm going to calculate the data packet here. Okay, so we'll just do data packet equals and we'll get this up there. So we want a function to calculate minute data. We'll do final, calculate final minute data. Okay, so let me error there. So we're going to return a dictionary, so we know that much. Okay, so we'll just copy the data packet up there for a moment, and then we'll get rid of this. So data packet now equals self dot process, calculate final minute data. Okay, and then our data packet will still be valid for the same write out and what have you. And then we are going to have to do some other stuff down here of resetting. So we'll call a complete, we'll call a reset from here. So we'll reset that and set that in a different, actually let's get rid of those and do that now so we don't forget. So we'll add it here. So we're just going to need a function to reset minute variables. Okay, there we go, that'll do. And then we'll be setting them like so, and then all of these will essentially just copy in the same. Try and make them systematic. So that's the windows, reset them all to 0. And we'll reset these to none. Well, actually, I'll leave the previous bid and ask on. And we'll just set them per minute. So that way it'll continue over. If that makes sense. Okay. So just make sure I'm thinking about that correctly. So the previous bid would be, and the previous ask would be the last minute. So yeah, it just adds another valid data point in, doesn't it? Because those two only affect the tick change rate here. not the high and low of that. So I'm happy with that. None of them need to be. The startup is not true, so we're not setting that here, are we? No, we're definitely setting that to false, because we'll only call this after we're done. So, oh, excuse me. So here we will want to reset minute variables. Okay. So we got that. We're collecting the packet there. We're resetting the variables there. And that takes us up to about our 20 minutes. So I'm going to leave this here, and I'll get back and do the calculate the final minute in the next video. So it's just run on a bit longer than I thought it would, but that's the way it goes. But anyway, we got everything in. We just now need to do some calculations. We fill out this with all that data, save it, and away we go. So as always, we'll get on with that in the next video, like we've done today, and I'm hoping to get the data read in and a comparison window put out as well today. So we are nearly 6 o'clock in the evening, so plenty of time to go. So as always, like the video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, tell me what an idiot I am, let me know you can hear me okay, or whether you can't, or whatever the case may be. I'm afraid I can't change my voice that simply. I am what I am. I hope you're kind of starting to get some shape. I know it isn't the best code. I know it isn't the most error checked or confirmed, but we'll get to where we need to be, and that's all that matters here. So just tidy that up a bit. It bugs me. So yeah, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video, which I'll be recording after a coffee. Take care of yourselves. See you soon.